The state is sticking to its guns in opposing bail for 5 former employees of G4S security company. The prosecution is arguing that granting the suspects involved in this case by giving them bail, it will lead to a public outcry and potential disorder. Let's bring in senior reporter Silindelo Masikane, who has all the names for us and all the jobs that they used to do because they're no longer there as part of this Thabo Bester escape saga. You're still in Bloemfontein for us this morning, freezing, I'm sure. Bloemfontein, very cold this time of year, Silindelo, but going to get very hot in court later because it's going to be a simple case. You get bail or you don't get bail. Good morning.
Good morning. We're back at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court where we are expecting the closing arguments to resume for the 5 co-accused in the Thabo Bester escape saga. Like you've said, it is quite heated inside as we are expecting to hear more from the defense in terms of their final plea to the magistrate for their clients to be released on bail. We know in terms of the charges that they're facing, they range from corruption to fraud, defeating the ends of justice, and of course aiding and abetting convicted felon Thabo Bester. But to unpack the proceedings that we've been seeing unfolding, I am joined by legal expert Marius du Toit. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I want us to just get straight into it, Marius. It's been about 3 weeks that we've been at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court hearing the arguments for the applicants. Is this unusual to see bail proceedings continuing for this long?
Well, it depends on the volume of evidence adduced by everybody. And we have to remember that we have a number of accused here. And because of the fact that the state is comprehensively opposing bail in respect of each of them, and each of them having to adduce evidence to satisfy the interest of justice for the court to permit them to bail, these proceedings unfortunately takes longer because these people have to be tested, they have to be cross-examined in many respects unless they adduce affidavits. So it is not common practice that it takes this long, but does it happen? Yes, it does happen. I've had bail applications stretching over weeks where it was quite an involved matter, and I've had bail applications that take 30 minutes. So it really depends on matter to matter. So I don't think you can read anything into the duration of this bail application by having a look at these proceedings in isolation.
Then let's talk about the considerations the magistrate is going to have to make. We saw, of course, the state bringing into sharp focus the issue around public outrage, around the confidence that the public will have in the justice system. But, of course, the lawyers then bringing in the personal circumstances of the accused in their affidavits. Just how much weight, then, is the magistrate going to have to put on particular aspects that have been brought forward?
So first and foremost, the magistrate would look at the grounds upon which the state is opposing bail. If that's the only ground upon which they rely, the fact that there will be a public outcry, and we haven't seen anything to that effect, I don't see people toying behind you asleep, then probably the reality is it does not carry that much weight. If the argument is that there's going to be an outcry from civic society, from social media, about the fact that they get bail, well, maybe that's possible. And that's definitely a factor to be considered by the court. But the court has to holistically look at all the factors. They have to look at each person, coupled with the severity of the charges they're facing, the likelihood of going to jail if convicted, the likelihood that they would evade justice if granted bail, the likelihood that they would interfere with witnesses or tamper with evidence, the likelihood that they might flee the country or the ease with which they can obtain other passports, the fact that they have a fixed abode, the fact that they have fixed employment. All these factors are but factors that the court will consider in holistically looking at each accused individually when considering bail. And if, having regard to all of that, keeping in mind if it's a Schedule 5, the onus is on the accused. If it's a schedule, on the accused to prove that the interest of justice should permit me to bail. If it's a Schedule 1, the onus is on the state to show that there are grounds upon which I should be denied bail. And the court would then weigh up this onus, coupled with the evidence, coupled with the factors in favor of the accused as well as against the accused. And should the court then find that on the balance of probabilities, the evidence is such that the accused will evade justice or will not stand his bail, then of course the court should deny bail. But we must always remember, Slee, that bail has no penal element to it. This is not the first opportunity of the state to punish the accused. The purpose of bail is solely to secure the attendance at court and to ensure the smooth running of the court system and the trial. That's essentially what bail is for.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. That is legal expert Mr. Marius du Toit, just unpacking the bail proceedings, the applications, and of course the considerations that are going to have to be made before judgment is delivered by the magistrate. We are expecting to resume with court proceedings just after 9 a.m. this morning, and we are expecting the magistrate to reserve judgment possibly for later this week or perhaps next week. So at this point we just await the accused arrival, as well as proceedings resuming at 9 a.m. Gareth.